The marks look too ovally. Oh no! Guess where we are. I wasn't really sure, is the current gonna be enough? Look at that fish. Yeah. I guess I got my answer. What's up, fisher people? So you remember last fall, I was doing a video called The Top Secret Fall Walleye Bite. It is large. Whoa! A gorgeous 23-inch eyeball fishing the flow. And I happened to mention that the same thing happens on the other side of the pump in the spring. Well, guess where we are? We're on the other side of the pump in the spring. And we got a nice Walter here. I just tagged that sucker just outside the boat. Big cold front today, so I'm not expecting the shallow, almost lost my new net, the shallow bay bite to work so well. God, has that fish still got eggs in it? I wouldn't think so, but I don't know for a fact. But isn't that a fun start to the day? And when I say start to the day, it's afternoon. In fact, it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it's cold today. It's still cold now, but I was waiting for the 32-degree stuff to dissipate so I can fish in 39. Dropping minnows in the bucket. Now the funny thing about this bite over here, like, I liked the bite on the other side because in the fall it's all kind of the same water temp wise. In the spring, you're normally looking for water temps warmer than the surrounding areas. When we're fishing this part in the spring, the pump over here is by some of the deepest, coldest water in the lake. So it's not necessarily where those fish want to be, but they do like current. So I wasn't really sure, is the current going to be enough to get them over here? Or are they still looking for warm water in the bays? I guess I got my answer. I checked one spot further out from the pump earlier, then I decided to scoot back in. I'm now sitting just off the flow, kind of like I did last time. It's right where the lake bottom starts to come up. There's a big point that comes out of the culvert area, kind of like the other side of the lake. So we just started to come up into 20 feet here. I might have been casting into 18 or 19. Caught that fish somewhere between 18 and 20 foot. And it just thumped the jig like you always dream of. And yeah, I almost lost it, but I did get this new, the Tom bowling net as they call it. My buddy Randy said I needed to try that thing out because it's a really light net, but it's also got a nice wide hoop on it, as opposed to my RS net, which is great for handling big fish, but it is heavy. Anyway, I do like the net. I've used it a few days now. It does handle big fish well. It is very light. It is very sturdy if you don't extend it. I will say if you extend the net all the way, it's capable of extending a very long distance to reach for a fish, but it does get a little floppy when you extend it. I don't extend it very often. The extender is more important for crankbait trolling. You got a fish coming up to the surface way behind you and you want to scoop under it. If you're not crankbait trolling, I wouldn't extend it. And then it works great. I really love it. And interestingly enough, I'm all by myself here today. Maybe that's because there's not a dock in at the ramp here. But I did not launch at this ramp. I found a different dock. I got another one. Should have turned the camera off. It was right after that. I was just vertical right underneath the boat. And started wiggling my line. Look at that fish. That's a nice one. Let's try to not drop the net in the water this time, okay? Can we do that? Yeah, we can do that. Similar sized fish, another low 20s kind of thing. That one looks more like spawned out potential. Still a nice stout fish, but not as sick as the other one by any means. Walleyes on Sakakawea are spawning right now, which is the bigger reservoir across the road. I would think these fish are at least doing the same, if not having already spawned out. So I kind of am thinking this is a post-spawn situation. And if that's true, fishing 18 to 22 feet post-spawn is a very strange thing for me to be doing. I'm used to being like 10 foot max. Usually if it's colder, it'll kind of be that 6 to 8 to 10 feet. And if it's a nice warm day, it might be like 2 to 5 feet. But as I said, a little different situation here. 2:13 p.m. We got some fish right under the boat. I'm not too far away. I don't know how big those marks are. They don't look that big, but... So the first fish popped it, and the second fish, I was trying to decide if I was stuck on the bottom or not. Because I had actually gotten stuck on the bottom right before that fish bit. I was like, oh, there's another rock or something hanging down there. But then I waited for it to wiggle. Rocks don't usually wiggle. So obviously jig size is going to be a consideration fishing this stuff. A lot of times in the spring, I'm using at least an 1/8 in this area, if not going down to a 16th. 16th is not going to work very well in 20 feet of water to begin with. Add a little current, not going to cut it. The 1/8's hanging in there though. So that's what I'm using. If you got a little heavier in the current, you'd probably have to think about a 1/4, but the 1/8 is the ticket. As long as it can maintain bottom contact after you pop it a little bit. But if you never feel it touch the bottom, you never see your line go slack when you drop it, then you probably want to think about upsizing your jig. I did kind of mark fish all around the area too, like some were in that 20 foot, some were 10 to 15 higher up on that point in the flow. I'm gonna throw a cast more up in the flow and let it drag it out and see what happens here. Inevitably it's going to sweep it out of the current off to the side, and then I'll just be playing the same game, working it back to the boat, and it's not a big deal. Now it's out of the current kind of, and I can start working it back to the boat a little bit. It's in the slacker current. It's pushing it out, but it's out of the main flow now. And you would think that'd be about where you'd want to be to get a bite, is right when it stops really pushing your jig and it settles a little bit on the edge. That's typically your sweet spot. The fish want to sit out of the thick of the current, walleyes, and be able to ambush stuff that's blowing by in the heavy current. Which is why when you're fishing in areas like this too, like you're also kind of looking if you can find a little hump and sit behind a hump. The hump can break the current, or if you can find a point, sit off the point. Just find little things that'll, kind of like if you're river fishing, humps or sandbars or rock piles or wing dams or something that'll break the flow, and start there. The other reason I'm fishing a little deeper here is that there's still quite a bit of weeds from the fall here, and the weed line was kind of that 14, 15 foot range. So when I cast up into that depth, I'm getting hung up in a lot of weeds, which there could be fish there, I suppose, but the fish is a lot cleaner when I stay in the 18 to 20. And I've caught fish in 18 to 20, so go with it, right? Well, I won't say we got lucky catching fish because we got 2 of them now, but 3 of them would feel a lot better. Be interesting to know what this bite would have been like on a warmer day. Oh, I missed it. Oh, you bit on camera and everything. Sorry, guys. Missed him. Son of a biscuit. 2 for 3 ain't bad though. If you're batting 660, you're going to the All-Star game. Nice little pot of fishes. The bite had kind of cooled off, so I thought maybe I'd shift around and look for some new fish. I'm not seeing like as many of them right tight to the pump here, but there's a little group of 7 maybe. I did find some shallower stuff closer to the pump with a fairly clean bottom. 15, 16, 17 foot thing. Give you a look at some of that current there. Got a pelican trying to fight it. More weeds, huh? Guess I gotta keep my cast straight back behind my boat. Could be fish in there, but they gotta be fishable too. These are so far fishable. I can pull through them fairly easily. Just doesn't seem like I need to be in the weeds to catch them, so I'd rather not. So I cut my finger this morning on the aluminum foil seal on a hydrogen peroxide bottle, which was kind of convenient because then I just dipped my finger right in there and cleaned it. Sometimes things work out okay, you know. There's a school of them swimming over here, but I'm guessing that could be carp. We'll find out. That's a lot of fish, whatever they are. If they're walleyes, I think I got a good chance of getting hit. I think they're carp. The marks look too ovally. Oh no! It still could be a carp that bit it though. It's got a lot of head shakes, that's all I know. It still could be a carp. It could be a carp. Carp can bite. It's a pike. Oh, don't break my line, don't break my line. Oh, don't break my line. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna find others in here. All the species like the current. How did that not break? I got so lucky. He's peeing. Ugh. You're the one that bites on camera? Why? I'm so close. If you just open your mouth. Pike. I don't think it was a school of pike. I just think it was a pike and a school of carp. That's what I think. Yeah, he nicked her. Do we have to go back to 20 feet to catch more walleyes? Is this just pike and carp land? What's going on? I think I got a different species this time. This might be a bass. Yeah, that's a smallie. Must be out of walleye position. It's a tank though. Tank smallie. Yeah. It's got eggs. It's not a super tanker. It's probably a 16, 17 incher. I either go right up tight to the flow or I go back out further to my 20-foot spot. What do you think is better? What's your gut telling you? What do I do? We're up here tighter to the pump and tighter to the current now. I am seeing fish in 10 feet of water. And it looks like I got a clean cast. Maybe not. Maybe there's still weeds. Yeah, there still are some weeds out there with. If I keep it short to the boat, it's clean. That's been the hardest thing about like the times that I want to get tight up in the flow. I also get tight in the weeds, you know. That could be a wally. That could be a Walter. That feels like a big head shake of a walleye right there. Let's get a toad, huh? Fish just thumped the crap out of that dude. Ooh, buddy. Oh, mama. I was just gonna go get the net, but I can't. Judas. Look at you go. If this is a walleye, this is giant. That's what I want. I want a giant walleye. Let's get a giant wally banger. God, I don't know. It could be a pike now. I don't know. I at least want to get the fish from doing this so I can go get a net. I can't get a net in this position. I need to get my rod out of the water for that. Come on. Holy cow. This might be a big pike or a muskie. I don't know. If it's a walleye, it's so big. Oh Holy crap, I can't even put any pressure on him because he keeps running. What are you? What are you, fish? Seriously? I don't think there's any way this is a walleye now. It would be such a big walleye. Come on. Oh boy. Jeez. Could it be a carp? Could. Oh, there's a big line rub there on the way up. What are we dealing with here? What do we think? Place your bets. Place your bets. I almost saw it. Oh, it just popped off, right? Well, we don't know. I got so close to almost seeing it. Son of a gun. Ugh. That sucks. I just wanted to know. There is a lot of line fraying right there. That tells me big pike or muskie. It just flung out of those weeds and was floating down there and then doink. So if you pull through weeds, let it hang there for a second. Fish like that stuff. All right, we push back out. I gotta catch more walleyes. 20 feet. 20 feet it is. Are they still here? Will they still bite? I marked a few on the screen. Give me one more good waltzer. Oh, other side now. Always elusive. There, I got one to go that I think's a walleye. 18 feet. I think. Oh yeah. Ah, I reached for the net and he got off. He took a run when I reached. God dang it. That was dumb. I was pitching it out here and letting the current suck it into the main flow. And he thumped it good in the current this time. He had just made a run, so I thought he was done, and then he did another run when I was no good. Can't pull on a fish when he's making a run. Oh well, he thumped it. And I saw it. It was probably an 18-inch walleye this time. If I were smart, you know, I'd have it right here. That's a better place for it. I can reach that. I saw like 5 or 6 of them in this little pocket when I settled here. There was like just a little tiny rock pile down there that they were kind of sitting on. So that might hold them here. Well, maybe I can't be too greedy. I asked for one more and I got the bite. I just didn't get in the boat. Again, I really hope you understand the tongue-in-cheek nature of the title of this video. It is not a secret that walleyes and many other fish like flow. And those local to this area, it's not a secret that the water pumps out here. You can find it posted at bait shops. You can find it as public information. You can see it driving by the highway. You can see the flow. I'm just lucky to be the only one here. Sorry. Come on, one more. One more. One more fish. One more fish.